The laughter echoed through the gym like a cruel drumbeat. She's so tiny. Look at her fists, they're like little marshmallows, one of the boys sneered, his friends doubling over with laughter. Emma stood frozen on the mat, her cheeks burning red, eyes darting to the floor. She hated attention, and now the whole class was staring at her, waiting to see if she'd cry or run. She did neither. She simply clenched her fists tighter, though they trembled in her lap, and whispered under her breath, "Don't let them see." You break. Emma was the shyest kid in her new middle school, barely speaking a word unless absolutely necessary. She had just moved to the small town with her mom after her parents' divorce, and everything felt strange and lonely. Karate had been her mom's idea. "You need confidence, sweetie," her mom had said. And learning how to defend yourself isn't a bad thing either. But Emma hadn't wanted to join. She hated the idea of being judged in front of strangers. Still, she agreed mostly because she didn't want to disappoint her mom. From the very first class, the bullies found her. Jake, the loudest and most obnoxious boy in the group, quickly became her tormentor. He was already a yellow belt and loved flaunting it, barking orders like he owned the dojo. He and his friends mocked Emma's every move, the way she held, her stance, the way she bowed too shyly, even the way she tied her belt wrong the first time. Emma kept her head down, hoping the teasing would fade. But it didn't. It got worse. One day, while the instructor was demonstrating a technique, Jake whispered loudly, "She's a ghost. Look at her. She's so pale. She glows." The boys erupted into laughter again, and Emma felt the familiar sting in her chest. But that night when she got home, something inside her cracked. She stood in front of her mirror practicing the same punches and kicks they had laughed at, over and over until her knuckles ached and her legs burned. She didn't want to be afraid anymore. Weeks passed, and Emma trained harder than anyone else. She stayed after class, asking questions, perfecting her form. Her instructor, Sensei Morales, noticed. "You have a quiet strength, Emma," he told her one evening as the others rushed out the door. "The world underestimates people like you. That's your advantage." Emma nodded, though she didn't quite believe him yet. Then came the day of the sparring tournament. Students would face each other one-on-one, and of course, fate put Emma against Jake in the first round. The room buzzed with anticipation as they stepped onto the mat. Jake smirked at her like it was already over. "Don't worry, this won't hurt," much he whispered, loud enough for everyone to hear. Emma's heart pounded so hard she thought it might burst out of her chest. She remembered every insult, every cruel laugh. But she also remembered her late-night training sessions, the way she had pushed herself, even when she felt like quitting. "I belong here," she told herself. The match began. Jake lunged first, reckless. And cocky, throwing a wild punch, Emma sidestepped effortlessly, surprising even herself. She countered with a sharp front kick to his stomach, just like Sensei had taught her. Jake staggered back, clutching his abdomen, the smirk wiped clean from his face. The crowd gasped. He charged again, angrier this time, but Emma was ready. She blocked his punch, pivoted, and swept his legs out from under him. He hit the mat with a loud thud. 30 seconds had passed. Jake scrambled to his feet, red-faced, but Emma didn't hesitate. She moved with precision and focus, delivering a flawless combination of strikes that left him completely off balance. One final push, and he was on the mat again, this time staying down. The whistle blew. The match was over. The room fell silent for a heartbeat, then erupted in cheers. Emma stood frozen, chest heaving. As she realized what had just happened, she had beaten the boy who had tormented her for weeks. She had done it in under a minute. Jake got up slowly, glaring at her, but even he couldn't hide the shock. In his eyes, he muttered something under his breath and stalked off the mat, his friends suddenly quiet. She simply bowed respectfully, just like Sensei had taught her. After the tournament, her classmates looked at her differently. Some even congratulated her. But Emma didn't care about their approval anymore. She cared about the feeling in her chest, the pride, the strength, the knowledge that she was capable of so much more than she had believed. When her mom hugged her that night, tears in her eyes, Emma finally let herself smile. "You were amazing," her mom whispered. "I just didn't want to be afraid anymore," Emma replied softly. From that day forward, the bullies stopped bothering her. But more importantly, Emma stopped doubting herself, knew now that she wasn't invisible, and she wasn't weak. She was strong not because she could beat someone in 60 seconds, but because she had refused to let fear define her. And that was the lesson she carried with her. For the rest of her life, the quietest voices often have the greatest power, and sometimes all it takes is one moment of courage to change everything.